Alright, so back in the day I used to do some weld repair with metal, and we're gonna do some of this with a 3D printer real quick with the one of these 3D printer pens. This can be really good for if you just want to fix shit around your house. So you gotta heat up the thing and try to get this end stuff off, because I want to try and match this and make it white. And they have this like finger thing that you do. You always want to make sure you're safe with this stuff, because it can be quite then you want to put on like the lowest speed you can, just when you're, especially when you're starting out. So basically rebuild welding and repair was really fun. It was you just keep doing keep putting in beads and stuff until you got like a higher shape, and then you use the grinder to make this spit out white. Okay, good. That's white enough. Bottom layer doesn't need to be that picky. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes this is really hot. Okay, good enough. All right. So we're just gonna try to start with this. You kind of just like to follow the shape. Okay, then we're gonna open it, close it. Okay, that works good enough. So then we'll just remember they said if you weave at L&H Industrial, you leave L&H Industrial. Now, weaving sometimes is okay, but sometimes weld shops don't like it because of the they're not 100% sure how the bead gets controlled. I mean, we're talking just like actual welding. Okay, kind of just do this. All right, then you always have to open and shut this, because you see, you just gotta make sure that it's bending and bowing the right way. We're just gonna go ahead and put some weld down here. Now it's getting too hot. We just want to let that cool for a minute, because we want this to become hard on there, basically. So my child that we call the master of mayhem doesn't break this. And So now sometimes when you're doing weld repairs, sometimes you'll find that there was maybe a better way to engineer something. Like, for example, there's always this weird buildup that just, it breaks up top, right? So what we can do to make this stronger is grab it up top, and then, like, you know, if it breaks somewhere, you know that you can essentially reinvent the wheel to make it better. This is actually one way that you'll see coal mining companies, the repair ones, rip each other off. Like P&H Industrial make a shovel, and then L&H Industrial, completely different company, will sit there and come in and they'll fix something, and then they'll, where it breaks commonly on a P&H part, they'll go ahead and they started manufacturing something called the Omega line with the part already put in. Like, and we're talking the difference between like a long square strip, a long square bar that eventually breaks and cracks out, versus what we would do to fix it is we would go in, we would like backblast it, and then we'd put welds in, and then we'd like get like a nice circular curve in there, like a concave curve, and it like would last longer and not break. And then that was like the Omega line. I actually have a funny story where I was interviewing at P&H. I was interviewing at P&H after I worked at L&H, and I was like kind of excited to start. I'm like, okay, so can I see like the OEM book or whatever, just, you know, to get an idea of how to like repair the parts and stuff. The guy sat there, he got so upset. He's like, you worked at L&H. He's like, I know you guys are just coming in ripping off our shit. He's straight up, he's like, that's a really rude question to ask. Because how do I know you're not just a spy and are just gonna take the OEM spec book back? Or whatever the hell, like, he called it or whatever. You know, I was just trying to ask questions to, like, sound more involved and stuff. This guy's like, how do we know you're just not a spy and stuff? I ended up bursting out laughing because it was just so funny. And, you know, the rivalry, you'll see people like that were at P&H for like 5 years. All of a sudden you pay like $10 extra to go over to L&H. It's so funny. And I didn't actually like working at L&H when I worked there, but they did give me good like experience. And like, we'd have to use something that was like one of those hot edge things, but I want to come back in later on. I want to come back in and kind of just like smooth all this out. But essentially you get the buildup and it helps, and we're just gonna see. I want to see if this breaks, holds, or whatever, so that we're good on this gate to see what I need to do for finishing.